Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. In this video, I am going to be giving my preview for the upcoming match between the Crusaders and the Highlanders for round 6 of Super Rugby Aotearoa 2021. But if you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. But yeah, let's get right into this preview. So like I said, round 6 already getting underway. Tell you what, this competition has been flying by. G'day. How are you? We have had some very good games of rugby to watch, and hopefully this match between the Crusaders and the Highlanders will be no different. It is being played at OrangeTheory Stadium, 7:05 PM kickoff on Friday night. The Crusaders have come out with an extremely strong lineup that has gotten even stronger, you could say, with the addition of George Bridge on that right wing, although they have still got Severis on the bench, and he will be a bit of a super sub later on in this one. But yeah, the Crusaders so far throughout the Super Rugby Aotearoa competition, they are looking sharp and they are looking like they are going to be a hard team to beat. And this Highlanders side, they are missing a few key players because of their players breaking protocol. There were 6 of them and a few of them would have been in the starting lineup. So they have got a few changes in the starting lineup and the reserves, but some of them I am very excited to get to see take place. The likes of Kazuki Himino, who is going to be in that number 8 jersey. He looked sharp off the bench in the last match for them, and hopefully he will be able to have a good game once again. Also, they have got Jonah Ariki on that left wing. He was supposed to be playing the match last week against the Hurricanes, but unfortunately he did still have a little bit of an injury. But this week he does seem like he is going to be back, and that is a good sign for the Highlanders because of how many running meters the man has. He has only played 3 games throughout the Super Rugby Aotearoa so far, one of which he was injured pretty early on, and he has already had 290 meters carried. He got a hat-trick as well earlier on in the season. He will be hoping to do that same performance up against this Crusaders side, because at this stage, whoever is going to be able to beat the Crusaders, it is looking likely that could be the team who are going to be in the Super Rugby Aotearoa final with them. So all of these teams who are playing the Crusaders, they will be given it their 110% because it could be the difference between them making it to the final and missing out. So the first thing I am going to look at is the last time these two sides played at OrangeTheory Stadium. The end score was 32 to the Crusaders and 22 to the Highlanders. It was round 9 of the Super Rugby Aotearoa 2020 competition, and that was a very good match to watch. It was back and forth rugby right up until about the last 20. It looked like the Highlanders maybe they had a chance there, but in the end the Crusaders, they were able to get the win, and that was actually the last game that the Crusaders got to play of their Super Rugby Aotearoa competition because of the fact that the last game was cancelled, and that one was going to be up against the Blues. So the try scorers in that match, when I look at them, one that stands out, George Bridge, was able to pick up 2 in that match. Now, he hasn't had an appearance in the Super Rugby Aotearoa competition so far, but if he can pick up from where he left off, he could be very dangerous on that right wing. And then on the other wing for the Crusaders, they have got Lester Whainarnuku, the man who has had a lot of running meters throughout the Super Rugby Aotearoa competition so far. I believe, if I'm not wrong, he is actually in first when it comes to meters carried, so he will be also a key in that backline. But when you look through it, Richie Moanga at 10, Whainarnuku 11, Havili and Goodhue making up the centres, George Bridge in that number 14 jersey, and then you got Will Jordan. Doesn't get much better than that. Of course, with the addition of Severis off the bench as well later on in the match. That's going to be a hard backline to try and contain. But in the past matches, the Highlanders, their defence has looked pretty decent, though maybe it will be a little bit of a chess match early on in this one. But yeah, going back to that match from round 9 of last year's competition, Will Jordan had the most running meters with 118. He will be hoping to have a very similar performance in this one. Jonah Ariki had the most meters for the Highlanders, and that was 105 meters carried. So it just shows when Jonah Ariki is in form, he can get a lot of running meters, and hopefully that will be the case in this one up against the Crusaders. We see in these matches all the time between the Crusaders and the Highlanders, it's back and forth rugby at its finest, and neither side want their opponents to be able to break through and score those tries, because we have seen the Crusaders, as soon as they score one, they are looking like they are going to be able to keep on scoring and get that bonus point. They have done it a few times throughout the Super Rugby Aotearoa 2021 competition so far, and this match, they won't want to be any different for them. They will be hoping to get the bonus point once again in this one against the Highlanders. So in that round 9 match, Shannon Frizzell was able to make 15 tackles, which was the leading tackler for the Highlanders, and then for the Crusaders, Tom Christie with 13. And carrying over to the first round of Super Rugby Aotearoa 2021, Tom Christie also made 13 tackles. So he is consistent, but we have seen throughout the Super Rugby Aotearoa competition, he has got the potential to go a lot higher than 13 as well. And someone else who has that potential is Ethan Blackadder in the number 6 jersey for the Crusaders in this one. He was able to make 16 tackles in the last encounter between the Crusaders and the Highlanders, and he will be hoping to have a good performance once again. And that was his first match back from injury as well. So now that he has had a couple more weeks under his belt, he did have a head injury a little bit earlier on in the competition, but now he is back to 100% and he will be wanting to make an impact in that number 6 jersey. So the score in the first match of Super Rugby Aotearoa 2021 between these two sides, it was 26 to the Crusaders, 13 to the Highlanders. Now the Crusaders, they weren't actually able to get that bonus point the last time these two sides met, but something they were able to do was defend that rolling maul of the Highlanders extremely well. That was something throughout pre-season that looked like it was going to be one of the keys for the Highlanders throughout the Super Rugby Aotearoa 2021 season, but the Crusaders, like I said, they were able to shut it down, and they will be hoping to do the exact same thing in this match. But they were also able to create their own chances off a rolling maul. Brodie McAllister was able to score the try coming off the bench, and Cody Taylor, another number 2 we have seen throughout this Super Rugby Aotearoa competition. If you are wearing the number 2 or the number 16 on your back, you've got a very good chance of being able to score a try. And I have a feeling either Ash Dixon or Cody Taylor will be able to pick themselves up in this one as well. Now another stat that I have got though, which is pretty interesting, in the last 3 encounters for Super Rugby Aotearoa between the Crusaders and the Highlanders, there is only one man who has been able to score in every single match of those 3, and that is Shannon Frizzell. He has scored himself 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and 1 in the third. So he will be hoping to make it 4 from 4. And he has had a pretty decent Super Rugby Aotearoa competition so far, Shannon Frizzell. So that is another possibility for the Highlanders. Maybe he will be able to pick up that try. Something else to mention when looking at those first round stats though, is the fact that the Crusaders, they had 15 penalties conceded in that match. They had 2 yellow cards in the end. It was Scott Barrett and also Ethan Blackadder. So they will have to make sure that their discipline is a lot better for this match in round 6. Now the Highlanders, they are missing Josh Ioane in that number 10 jersey, so I would assume kicking responsibilities in this one will be going to Mitch Hunt, and he would like to be able to keep on adding up those 3 points if the Crusaders do give away penalties. But then the other golden rule when you are playing the Crusaders is normally 3 points just isn't enough. You need tries, and you will be wanting to kick for that corner and go for that rolling maul, and maybe from there use their backline. They have got a decent looking backline for this match, the Highlanders. They have got Mitch Hunt 10, Nariki 11, and they have got Thomas Umaga Jensen in number 12. 13 is going to be Michael Collins. 14 is going to be Scott Gregory, a man who we haven't seen too much of so far throughout this Super Rugby Aotearoa competition. And then number 15 for this one is going to be Connor Garden-Bishop, and he was able to pick himself up a try the last time these two sides met for Super Rugby Aotearoa 2021. Now another mention is the fact that Folau Fakatava is going to be starting in that number 9 jersey for the Highlanders. He has looked sharp every time he has come off the bench so far, Folau Fakatava, and then also the fact that they will be able to bring on Aaron Smith later on in the match, and I feel like that is when he is going to be able to strike as well. When the Crusaders, if it is possible that they get maybe a little bit tired, he will be able to see that, be able to find those gaps for his backs to be able to run through. And maybe the Highlanders, they will be able to pick up a few tries later on in that second half. But that's the thing, the Crusaders we have seen so far, that last 20 minutes or so, they just turn it up to that next level, and not many teams can keep up with them during that time. And the Highlanders, they are going to have their A game when it comes to that defence, because as soon as you start letting the Crusaders break tackles, most offloads so far in the Super Rugby Aotearoa 2021 competition, it goes to the Crusaders. Sever Reece himself has about 9 so far, so they are willing to offload that ball, keep it moving out the back line, and more often than not that does turn into points. And one other thing, Richie Mo'unga, he won't be too happy about the fact that Jordie Barrett was able to break his record for the most points scored by an individual in a Super Rugby Aotearoa match. He will be wanting to take that back in this match against the Highlanders. But nonetheless, I think that is almost going to be the end of this preview. It has been a little bit of a shorter one, but hopefully you guys have still enjoyed the video. If you have, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I will be doing my normal watch along live stream, and that will be only in a few hours time from when this video is uploaded, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But nonetheless, I will see you all in the next one.